What's holding you back from starting or growing your business into what it can be? Well, if you're watching this, it's not a lack of information. What you're about to see is all you need to get motivated to start making waves. Do It For a Living details the journey of today's true players in their own words. Find out how they broke out so you can too. The time is now. The time is always now. Before we get started, a quick word about My Shop Assist. If you're running a tuning shop, fabrication shop, or any kind of performance business, we just launched our inventory management system. It's live now, and it's built specifically for shops like yours. Track parts, manage stock levels, and know exactly what you have on hand without the headache. We're also going to be at the PRI show this year, booth 4905. It's on the edge of Machinery Row in the Yellow Hall. Come by, check out a demo, and see how we can help streamline your shop's operations. Now, let's get into the show. Welcome to another episode of the Do It For a Living podcast. I'm Kevin Dubois. We got something new for us now. Obviously, this is a video podcast. So traditionally, if you have never seen our podcast before, it's always been audio only. So we've got about 180 episodes of it in our history. So check it out on the podcast player on your Apple phone or Spotify. And we do have it on YouTube, which is probably where you're seeing this. So all the old episodes are audio only, but they are there for you to see. So if you're new to our channel, that's how you can check us out. And we are a motorsports business podcast typically. Traditionally, we've talked about like how influential people in the industry have been like got started, like how their business is operated. And it's always been like shop owners, people who own like manufacturing facilities, people who race, that sort of thing. And so this is going to kind of change it up a little bit. And I'm really excited for this because it's kind of a change being able to do it in video. And so you can see here, we've got our guests here, Zach and Emily. They are from the UNT, so University of North Texas Formula SAE team. And so this is kind of a new thing for us. And so we've also got a couple things I want to mention before we get started here. So I do want to thank everybody that's helped me build this studio. So my wife, Lauren, who's also the producer behind the camera. Richard has helped us build it all. He will be our co-host here for most of the episodes. He's just not here today. We've also got George helped us do some of the sprinkler systems for this thing. And even my kids helped out a little bit. But I also got some help from Max and Hunter doing the camera setup and the software equipment or the software setup. So that was also very helpful for those guys. So appreciate the help. Okay, so for today's episode, we've got the UNT team here. And so Emily, Zach, how are you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Yeah, doing pretty good.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get started here. Why don't you tell us like what year you are, how you got involved in, Formula SAE and to start with, like your major, just kind of tell us about yourself. Emily, if you want to go ahead and start.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a senior level mechanical and energy engineering major up at UNT. Technically a fifth year senior, but same thing. I got involved with SAE about 2 years ago, 2.5, something like that. The team actually had one of their old cars, their first car, actually, our 2013 car, just displayed out in a hallway in front of one of the classrooms. And it was my Thermo 1 class. And I remember one day I just walked out of class, I was standing there looking at the car, and it just so happened that our entire officer team was also in the class with me. So they saw me looking at the car, and they're like, "You want to build a race car?" It's like, yeah, I want to build a race car. And now here I am.
Awesome.
So
And Zach?
Yeah, so I'm a fifth year senior as well. My major is computer science with a minor in electrical engineering. I joined about a year and a half ago. The president at the time, he was one of my best friends from freshman year. He's like, "Hey, we're doing electric car now. I know we didn't really have anything for you before, but we got something now. You kind of want to join?" And so I joined from there.
Okay. And for the people watching this that aren't familiar with what Formula SAE is, give us like a 30-second pitch, like, what your team is about, what you guys do, just real quick.
yeah, so Formula SAE is hosted by the Society of Automotive Engineers, and they challenge student engineers to build a small formula car. And then we take them up to Michigan International Speedway every year to compete with them. The competition itself is focused more on building you as an engineer rather than actually driving a race car. So we present our designs to a panel of judges, and they commend us and give us some criticism and some things to iterate upon for next year. And then we produce another car every year. They do an ICE and an EV competition, which are split up into 2 different competitions. We've done ICE in the past, but we are currently developing EV cars.
Okay. And so what's the structure of your team? Like, how big is it? Like, how many people are involved?
Yeah, I think our total team roster right now has about 60 people, but we can't really expect every single student to show up all the time.
Big team.
Yeah, we consistently, I would say, have about 40 people showing up every workday to work.
Okay.
We meet every Saturday, so it's just 9 to 5. We have 8 hours that we put in.
Okay.
But then most of our leads and some of our more dedicated members also come in quite a bit throughout the week. So no, you can ask Zach. It's definitely not just a Saturday thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And like the team history, like how long has UNT been doing it? Do you know?
Yeah, so we started doing FSAE specifically back in, it would have been 2012, and our first competition being in 2013. Before that, we were a SAE Baja team, I believe.
Yep.
And then we built cars from 13 all the way up to COVID. Took a little break there. People during COVID, we lost most of our members.
Okay.
And then we came back. I think 22 was our first car, and we did 22, 23. And then after 23, we decided we were going to do the EV conversion. So we took 2 years to develop our first EV car.
Mhm.
And then last year for 25 was our first competition with that. And this year we are trying to improve upon that car to hopefully make it a little more successful this year.
Awesome. Okay, so like let's go into like the team like structure and like how it's run and like how it interacts with the university and other businesses, because there's a lot of like subcontracting and outsourcing, and not everything is done in-house, but obviously a great deal of it is. So let's kind of go into that. So first tell us, like, is it a class? Is it a club? Like, tell me kind of like how you guys do that part of it.
Yeah, so it's predominantly extracurricular. There's not a lot that they teach us within our classes that feeds into automotive engineering per se, but the fluid dynamics, the heat transfer, all the structural things that they do teach us in engineering, obviously pertain to automotive plenty.
Yep.
But we don't exclusively have engineers on the team. I mean, Zach's computer science, essentially. Not
Sure.
that that's not engineering, but
Yeah.
he definitely does his fair share.
Yeah. And
But we also have business students. One of our engineering leads actually is a kinesiology major.
okay.
So shout out to her. She does a fantastic
Yeah,
job.
when I did it, this
Um,
is a 2005. We had an art student.
Yeah.
We had business people, so it's a variety. Like they
Yeah.
all have a role. It doesn't have to be engineering, right?
Like we've
So,
got
yeah.
a kinesiology major doing engineering. We work with business people to do business stuff. We have engineers doing business stuff.
We have a biomedical engineer doing composites.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, kinesiology might fall under the ergonomics part of the
She
car,
is
right?
our ergo lead, actually.
She is our ergo lead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we do have the whole business side of things. Since we do have a lot of engineers, people tend to gravitate to the engineering side of things. But I'm the operations manager, so it is kind of my job to head the business side of things more so than the engineering aspect.
Okay.
And then we do have to reach out a lot to people within the industry to find sponsors in order to help fund the project,
Right.
because we are pretty much entirely externally funded,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
I can
But-
speak on the part of the manufacturing. For my subsystem specifically, we didn't want to really get into the manufacturing of our battery modules themselves.
Okay.
So we reached out to a company in Colorado where they do just primarily battery module manufacturing.
Okay.
So they do it for like forklifts,
Sure.
other things like that. And so we had them, we gave them our batteries, gave them they already had dimensions for us because they had already reached out to us
Okay.
eventually. And then we just had them made there, shipped them out, and we
Okay.
get to use those. But
Awesome.
everything else typically is made by
In-house.
us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, like, going back to like you, I mean, what brought you into like automotive? Like obviously you saw the car and you're like, hey, that's super interesting. Like, what kind of got you into the automotive stuff?
I mean, I've always just kind of liked things that go fast. When I turned 18, my birthday present to myself was I bought myself a little Ninja 400.
Okay.
So I was like, I got my sport bike. I can go drive very safely on the highways, and whatnot. But I don't know. I've always just liked things that get to go fast. And then once I got into engineering, I actually started as a math major and
Okay.
switched over because I was tired of just crunching numbers.
Sure.
I wanted to apply that math to something. Getting to actually design the cars, I I thought was really, really cool. So, and of course, most people want to drive the car.
Yeah.
That's really not what SAE is about at all.
But do you drive the car? Have you driven it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But like I said, we got like 60 people on the team. Of those 60 people, probably 15 of them have ever actually got the opportunity to drive.
Sure.
So a lot of people do join the team thinking they're going to be a race car driver.
Yep.
It's like, sorry to burst your bubble, but if you do 2 years here and you're a lead and you actually do your job, then yeah, you can get an opportunity to drive at Texas Autocross at UTA or something.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, it is about building the car.
Right.
So I was really looking for an opportunity to actually apply the things I was learning in class and not just have them as arbitrary abstract concepts in my head.
Okay.
Because without any hands-on experience, it's like I don't feel like I'm learning anything because it's just numbers and formulas.
That's right.
Actually getting to do those things for a car.
So have you had any automotive experience before FSAE, or was it this kind of like getting you into it?
I think I changed a tire once.
Okay. So you've never like wrenched on your own cars?
No.
Okay.
I do now. I'm no expert by any means. Like just a few months ago, I bought myself a Miata for a project car, which has been fantastic and I've had so much fun with. But no, before I joined the team, I literally knew nothing about cars.
Okay.
So it's been huge learning experience and a lot of fun.
And how long have you been doing it on the team?
About 2 years.
Okay. And what did you start off as? Like, obviously not a lead, right?
So yeah, I'm the operations manager now. When I first started, I joined the ergonomic subsystem. I think my mentality at the time was it's the least likely to kill someone. So if I mess it up, no one dies.
Yep.
But then as I was doing it, I'm like, wait, no, this pertains to the stuff the driver is doing. So if I mess it up, I do kill someone. If I tighten the seatbelt wrong, person goes flying.
Right.
But yeah, so I started out under ergonomics, and then after I think 3 or 4 months, the lead position actually opened up, and we didn't have a lot of other people working with me on the subsystem. So they asked me to take over that role. And then I did that for the year leading up to our 2025 competition. And then we had elections last January or so. And,
elections for team leadership?
Yes, for this year.
Okay.
So, and then that was when they voted me into the current officer position.
Oh, very cool. Okay, so let's kind of go through the build cycle that you have. So when does the season start for you guys? Like, when do you actually begin the process?
So it's not always the same for every build. But current build we're working on right now, we just call 26 or F26. For this particular build, we started pretty much exactly when we got back from competition.
Which is in May or June?
IC competition is in May. The EV competition is in June.
Okay.
I think we gave everybody a week off.
Yep.
And we were like, July 5th is when we start. We'll see y'all 9 to 5 every Saturday.
So it's at that point, it's summer for
Yeah.
school. So people are coming in. Now, are you from the area, both of you?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. So it's not hard for you to come in on the weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of our team, especially the leads and everybody, is local. And with the engineering classes, a lot of them choose to take summer classes.
Okay.
So people are still kind of in the area. And most of our team is more than happy to come in, just on Saturdays at least. But yeah, we started off this summer and got through quite a bit of our design. We're still kind of in that design phase right now, but we're about to transition over into manufacturing. We just got to get our chassis finalized through our SES submission, which is where we send our chassis designs into the SAE officials, and they basically say, yes, this is safe, you can make it, or no, this sucks, this will kill someone.
Okay. So you said you got 60 people and you do your elections. Are your elections right after the competition? Is that kind of when you start doing that stuff?
We typically do our elections in the winter.
Okay.
So this year we'll probably do elections here in the coming January. That way the next year's officers as well as next year's engineering leads, they know what position they're going to fill going into the competition.
Okay.
So they have a whole semester to prep for that and know this is what I need to be an expert
They're like
on.
interning underneath another student.
Yes.
Okay.
It's typically for the engineering leads, it's something they're already pretty familiar with. So our drivetrain lead may be somebody who's already helped a whole lot with the drivetrain system.
Sure.
So, but just having about a semester to prepare for taking over that role once the person they're filling in for graduates or moves on to something else.
Okay.
And also to pay attention at competition to what about this competition actually pertains to my subsystem.
Okay.
Speaking from experience at competition, with your people who are going into those leads next year, having them paying attention for the last little part, which is typically our crunch time and going into competition. It gets those either fresh people get the experience of competition because that's its own whole ball game, and they also get to learn more of what they actually need to do and what's good to do and what's not good to do.
Yeah, we did not do it that way at UTA. We just similar. We did our elections after competition over the summer, same thing, but we didn't have an internship. We just, hey, you're team captain, you're chief engineer, you're the engine lead. And so nobody came in with any experience doing it. You just had to like wing it essentially. So that's a great idea to do it.
When it comes to design review, one of our major things is knowledge. Yeah. So having them there for all of our failures before going to competition lets them know, hey, maybe we should change this next year and say this to the judge.
Yeah. That's what I learned the most of is sitting through the competition, the design competition in 2005, so 20 years ago, right? You see where your flaws are. Like when the judges ask you questions and you can't answer them, you're like, oh, well, I didn't even think of that, right? And so then you have a perspective of where you can improve for the next year. And then for us, or for me at the time, leading 2006, it was all about understanding everything to every single detail. And then having those people in the design competition, right? So making sure the leads were there to explain their stuff, right? And then they knew it going into it. So how do you structure the team with so many people? Like, how do you break it up into different categories?
I mean, at the top of the pyramid, we have the 3 officers. So our project manager, Solomon, he's hiding in the back of the room. He's over everybody. And then we have our chief engineer to handle the engineering side of things, and then me, the operations manager, to handle the business side of things, some of the event planning and all of that. And then I have a team of business people, whether they're business students or not, doesn't matter, that help me out with a lot of those things. But most of our team does the engineering side of things. So from there, they're broken up into different subsystems. So that way you don't just have 60 people all just trying to throw a car together.
Right.
You've got 5 people that are expert on chassis and then suspension. I think we have 9, 10, maybe 11 different subsystems.
I think it's near 12.
Near 12-ish.
Yeah.
Solomon says 11.
Okay.
But we've got chassis, suspension, drivetrain, EV powertrain, electrical. What else we got? Aero, composites.
Legacy and quartermaster.
Legacy, quartermaster. That's 9.
Yeah.
Oh, ergonomics. That was mine.
What's
I
the
should remember
legacy
that
and
one.
quartermaster?
So they keep up our old cars. Like we still have 2023's car up and running. It's our last internal combustion car.
Okay.
Which we raced at UTA Autocross, and I think they take it out to a couple of the SCCA events as well. It's kind of our show car. Yeah. They also keep up all of our other show cars, like 2017, which was technically our highest placing car. Okay. And then 2013, which is not the first car we did, but the second car, if I'm not wrong. It is the first car.
The first car,
It is the first car.
So we didn't have a group for this called Legacy, but we maintained all the old cars too, and we used them for driver's training. Okay. So we could go train year round. As long as we had enough sets of tires, you could train people going through the year. So that way everybody's ready to race. Yeah. So, yeah.
And then 11th subsystem, I just remembered, is actually a new one this year, is our data acquisition. Okay. So we have a guy, Hayden. He's fantastic. It's literally his job to be able to collect data so we can see how the car's actually performing. I know he's working to get us some potentiometers to put on our suspension. Yep. So we can measure suspension travel and stuff. And he's working at fixing the data logger that is pretty iffy. Okay. So we can get better data from that.
So what's the biggest challenge you guys have as a team or as team leadership?
I would say paying for the car.
Okay. Money.
That is
the finances. Yeah.
That is pretty much my job, but still, I think it's a big thing for everybody. We heavily encourage all of our leads to, like, before you purchase a product, reach out to who you're purchasing it from. See if they'll give you a discount. Because some people don't even bother to ask. And if they ask, they get 50% off. Zach has done fantastic. I think Zach has brought in more sponsorship discounts than I've brought in sponsorship funding. So,
unfortunately, my whole subsystem costs the most. It's like half the car. Yeah. If we build from scratch. So it's kind of been my priority to get that cost down a little bit this year because bringing money in is not the easiest thing, especially right now.
Yeah. And at least with the EV stuff, I feel like the industry as a whole is, like OEs and stuff like that. They're pouring tons of money into that. So I would think that bringing up young engineers into that is valuable to them. So if they can get you the stuff to get you going, then when they hire someone in, you already have some experience. So while it costs some money up front, there's some payback
Yep.
on the back end of that. So yeah, it makes sense. So money, does the school give you any money?
They don't really fund us as much as they give us resources to help us along the way.
Okay.
So like we can use all of their facilities. We use their big shop,
Yep.
and they have a whole machine shop that we do a lot of our manufacturing in. So we can use their welding equipment, mills, lathes, CNC machines.
Mhm.
In the shop that we normally work out of, we actually have the water jet, so that comes in really, really handy for any of our sheet metal parts, the tabs we need cut and everything. Um, so they have helped us with some funding in the past. We're technically based out of the school's mechanical engineering department.
Okay.
But mostly they find other ways to support us that doesn't come out of their budget and
Got
funding.
it. Okay. So basically all the cash is coming from sponsors then.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Or alumni or whoever you need to raise
Yeah.
money through. Okay. Okay. So let's get into like design decisions. So this is always pretty tricky for us because if you wanted to make a big change, it involves either a lot of money or a lot of manpower, right? When you're building the same car over and over and over again, it's easier. There's not as much, I guess, friction to do that. So what do you guys do when you do want to make a change? Like, what's the process for that? Does somebody at a lower level say, hey, I want to make a new intake manifold, and you all just say yes? Or do you kind of do a democratic vote for this? How do you handle design decisions?
There's a lot of just collaboration as a team. If somebody at a lower level has something they want to implement, essentially it comes back to how feasible is it and how affordable is it. And those are decisions that us as officers kind of make. So our chief engineer kind of handles a lot of those decisions, but if it is something major that affects the whole team, we'll get like all of our leads together on a big phone call. I think one time we had 26 leads on a phone call on a Monday night or something, talking about big EV powertrain stuff.
I've been making some changes.
Yeah.
And it caused the whole car to kind of either shift a little bit or have to fit something bigger in the side of it.
Yeah, obviously, like if you change your battery pack size, then you need to, package that somehow. So
Yeah.
now you're affecting like the frame and suspension. So like one little change here affects everybody. So you have to collaborate with everyone to make sure they're all on board with it then essentially, huh?
Yeah. The big change was a new motor. We had a lot of problems last year with our inverter motor combo, so I'm getting to purchase a new one this year. So that affected drivetrain, suspension, chassis. Like I think it even affected ergo a little bit
Okay.
because it's not bigger, it's just longer.
Okay.
So trying to package it all up caused other things to change or adjust.
Okay. So have you guys had any major setbacks or failures like like battery fires or, funding catastrophes where you buy something and now you don't have any money left, like anything of that sort?
I mean, last year we had a couple problems with the EV powertrain. Reading through some of the rules, we found out that one of our battery packs, or all of our battery packs, didn't have enough fusing on it. That got us. When we got our inverter in, we realized that something's wrong with it. So we're having to go through the process of RMAing it.
Okay.
When we got our motor in, we realized it was rubbing. So we had to go through and fully tear apart the motor and find out how to space that apart. And just, almost all the way throughout the way, there's been something that's caused a hiccup.
Okay. Yeah.
It's mostly his EV powertrain stuff. Like everything I can think of is just his stuff. He's really had his work cut out for him.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that being the biggest problem because it's obviously the most complex. So building the frame and suspension is pretty straightforward. Obviously, you have like software to kind of like analyze all that stuff, like your frame to like layout, stiffness, suspension travel, all that sort of thing. Is you can have it all pretty well sorted before you even make anything. For you got to engineer it, then you got to make it, and then you got to hope that you made it correctly.
Correct.
Yeah. And it's really cutting edge too. So it's not something that you can just go ask any shop to help you with.
Especially when we're going into designing stuff, like trying to understand what we need and why we need it. Not much stuff out there that helps support that. Like determining our battery pack size, trying to get a lap simulation that does kind of do the small little endurance track that we can do, and also figure out how much energy we need.
Mhm.
It's kind of multi-step process. You have to use multiple different softwares to try to solve.
So at that point, also having a legacy car that is EV would help too, because then you can, hey, we need this much kilowatt hours to get through the endurance.
Yep.
Plus the safety of or factor safety there or whatever, and then the next car you can build around that, right? So the first one's the rough one. So how do you guys balance schoolwork and FSAE and just regular old life? Like that was always my team's biggest problem. Everybody did everything FSAE, and lots of kids failed out of school. So,
a lot of caffeine.
yeah.
I mean, we are fifth-year seniors.
Okay.
We've gone an extra year just to go on the team a little bit long, not a little bit longer, but just because we've had to, not take a class.
Spread out your classes a little bit.
Okay. So you're not taking a full 16 or 20 credit load, like do 12 or 16 and kind of balance from there?
Yeah. Like it's a lot to balance. Like most of our team has significant part-time jobs and internships and everything. He and I both work for the university. Like everybody on the team is very, very busy, but I mean, for the most part, people do a great job. But I think it comes at a lot of sacrifice of personal time and social lives. And like my only friend group is the people that I build the car with because I don't have time for anybody else.
No, that's exactly. I couldn't name a single person I went to grad school with. Not a single one. All of them FSAE people. Every single one of them. Yeah, that's kind of how it goes. So what competitions are you guys targeting this year, and when is it?
Yeah, so we'll be going to the FSAE EV competition this summer. It'll be June 16th approximately. And then we'll pack everybody up into a bunch of vans and drive up to Michigan International Speedway with our car and everybody.
Okay, and do you bring all 60 people with you?
Definitely not. I hope not, because we do have to pay for it ourselves. So it comes out of the team's budget, and aside from the race car itself, it's definitely our biggest expense by far.
Yeah.
For the actual competition, we're only allowed to register 30 people with our team.
Okay.
So only 30 people are actually allowed to touch the car or go into any of the design events, the judging events.
Okay.
If you wanted to bring more people as spectators, we could, but that's just that many more people. We have to pay for their travel.
Right.
If they wanted to get themselves up there, I'm certainly not going to stop any of them. We appreciate everybody's enthusiasm and everything. But we do prioritize taking, obviously, our current officers and current leads, and then next year's officer team and next year's leadership team.
Okay.
That way, we have everybody that worked on this car, but everybody that's going to work on next year's car can learn from how competition goes.
Sure. And I'm assuming that usually means most of the seniors are people graduating so that they can interact with the industry people there looking to hire people, right?
Yes.
Which is a big draw for anybody that ever wants to go. That is like the single biggest reason to go, because it's literally just a recruiting event for most of them. So, okay. So if there's a rule you could change to make the competition better, like, whether it be like the dynamic events or the design or anything that you could change on the competition, what would it be?
We were talking about this one last night, and I think the biggest thing we would change that at least has sort of hindered us in the past is the inconsistencies amongst the judges when it comes to what their opinion is or their interpretation is of a particular rule. Now, it's a hard thing to really fix, but it's been a little bit tricky for us in the past when one judge says, yeah, that's fine, and then we move on to a different stage. And then we get to competition, and a different judge is like, oh, that was never fine.
Okay.
So overall, the judges do a fantastic job.
Yeah.
But I know it's been a little bit of a pain for us sometimes. So.
Okay. And then what's next for you? Now, you guys are both graduating, I presume?
Yes.
In the spring?
Spring.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you guys have anything lined up already, or is it you're still kind of looking?
Currently, not technically. I do have an internship position that if I wanted to pursue as a full-time career, I could do so. But I ideally would like to do something that was more automotive or motorsport centered, just because that really is what I enjoy doing. I like getting to do a little bit more of the CAD and design side of things, and right now I'm essentially a sales engineer.
Okay.
So
you would be surprised how valuable that is, though.
I know. I know it's valuable, and I've heard they get paid a lot of money.
Yep.
But I like doing SolidWorks. I like doing the simulations, and I'd like to be able to do a little bit more of that. So I'm still looking before I tell my current employer that I'm going to settle down where I am.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
So, Zach, what about you? What do you have going on after you graduate?
Yeah, so technically right now I don't have anything lined up, but I know we've done a couple of the tours of some places around here.
Okay.
They're like, oh yeah, you're doing EV Powertrain, that's really cool. And I get a lot of knowledge from that. So I'll maybe have something with sponsors eventually.
Yeah,
But
and you have Tesla. Not the Austin is not terribly far.
yeah, I mean, I did interview with them over the summer, but
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. And what advice would you guys give anyone like freshmen going into college thinking about FSAE or this kind of field?
If they're like considering joining an SAE team, do it. Uh, Like, I feel like the things I have learned from participating in Formula SAE have taught me 10 times more than the things I've learned in my classes.
Mhm.
It's not that that knowledge is useless, it's certainly not, but actually getting to apply the things that I learn in the classes and see how it translates to real life engineering
Okay.
is very, very valuable. As far as just going into an engineering field or an automotive field in general, um, like, I think it's a lot of fun. It's certainly not easy, but if you're still just trying to decide on a major and you're thinking about doing engineering, a lot of people act like it's the hardest thing in the world. And I mean, at this point, I'm a senior. I just have some easy engineering electives left, and I'm just kind of like, oh, that was it?
Yep.
Like, it wasn't easy, but where was the hard part? And I'm not the smartest person in the world or anything. I can do decent math, but aside from that,
Sure.
it's not bad. And it's a lot of fun, and you'll learn a lot of really fantastic skills that can translate into a lot of different
Absolutely.
positions.
Yeah, and as someone who hires people, runs a business, like I don't really care about your GPA as long as you graduated. I care about the experience you have and what you've taken away from school. And so obviously having done Formula SAE, I know that like it's way above and beyond anything that you'll take in a class. And it has prepared anybody that's taken it seriously far more than just a regular student that has a 4.0. Like the experience is worth more than the GPA, right? So
Like the competition itself is catered to building fantastic engineers.
right.
So it
Yep.
doesn't even matter what type of engineering you plan to go to. They teach you the engineering thought process and why to make the decisions that you do.
Yep. So, all right. So, what I want to do with this podcast is I want to kind of give you the experience of like, there's in the actual competition, there's like the design competition, and then there's also a business plan competition. And in my opinion, the FSA organization has kind of messed them both up, or at least missed a great opportunity to not just pitch the whole car, which is what they want. So the business plan is like pitching the car to an investor who would want to buy the car. In my opinion, that's wasted opportunity. I think it should be like, tell us something that you have developed on this car that can be applied to real world. And so we're going to do that today. So you came here to kind of share what you have been working on with the powertrain and kind of your experience with it and how that'll apply to real world situations or a job or whatever you may be doing. So go ahead and tell us about your specific role. You know, like you've already kind of mentioned that you're doing the EV powertrain, but what exactly are you responsible for?
Yeah, so I'm the lead of EV Powertrain Training. I'm one half of it. The other one is Rusan. He does mostly the mechanical side of it. So he'll do the simulations on the airflow. He'll do not SES, structural analysis on like our battery mounts, stuff like that. He'll create the CAD for our battery box and make sure everything fits together. I mostly pick out all the electrical stuff. So I'll pick out how much energy usage we need, how much storage we need, all the specifics on energy calculations, and also what connectors I need.
Okay.
And then also look through the rules.
And so this is a new, I mean, you have done EV powertrains before, but you have never developed it yourself from scratch, essentially, right?
So the team itself, EV Powertrain started as a senior design.
Okay.
And then it got turned into what we're doing now. With that, after the senior design got finished, it was mostly R&D.
Okay.
So we did create last year's one kind of with that in mind, but also from scratch a little bit. So I have had that year of knowledge from creating it, but I didn't really do any of the mechanical side on it. So this year we've brought in someone to do the mechanical side of it.
Okay. And so what is the problem you were trying to solve by going from the ICE vehicles to the EVs? Like, was there a specific reason to do it?
So some of the reason to do it was that most of the good competition was leaving the IC and going into EV. So I know UTAs have been doing it for a while, but most of the IC teams we had been racing with and competing against every year, like RIT and everyone else, had been moving to electric. And we also saw that the industry is moving to electric. and saw that could be a great place for, sponsorships and our members to eventually get jobs into.
Okay. And walk us through your like design process. How are you designing your electrical powertrain? Is there like specific software you're using? Is it hand calculations? How are you doing that?
So it's a little both. This year we took a really focus on understanding how much power or energy storage we need. So I used a couple of the lab simulations. I used MATLAB for some of them. I used Optimum Lab. Um, that helped me get some data about our average speed, our percentage in braking, percentage in what kind of acceleration we're doing. And I took those numbers and did hand calculations with all of our energy, all of our pack specifications, and found out we need about 5 kilowatt hours of power to do 30 minutes.
Which is the endurance competition, right?
Correct.
Okay. And what other solutions could you have used as far as like battery packs? I mean, can you use like a COTS commercial off the shelf stuff, or does it have to be custom fit to what you have? You mentioned you're using a sponsor to build the battery pack. Could you have done that in-house? Kind of walk us through the battery pack.
So there's a couple options there. And the determination of the actual cell chemistry, there's only a couple that is in use right now. You have pouch cells or prismatic cells, and you have cylindrical cells, which we use.
Okay.
A lot of teams do actually manufacture their sections or how they hold their
the modules,
how they hold their batteries together in-house. I know UTD does it.
Okay.
But then there's off the shelf sponsorships, like not sponsorship sellers. Like our company is SAE Solutions, but they just went into Evolve Battery Solutions. And I know AnyPack does it. So there's a couple people who do it already.
Yeah.
And we found that to be the most cost effective and fastest way for us.
Okay.
Otherwise we would have to take multiple months just to make something which we could have bought.
Okay. Yeah, and then nobody is making their own battery cells. Everybody's buying them from somewhere and then organizing them in the pattern they need based on the size they need. Then?
Correct.
Okay.
I don't know about the pouch cells, but most of the cylindrical cells is off the shelf, like Sony's,
okay,
Molicel.
Tesla does the cylindrical cells for a lot of shops, right? Or a lot of teams. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have a sponsorship that they run through at SAE officially to do that.
So what are your design constraints? What are you designing around? You said 5 kilowatt was or kilowatt hours, right? Is your, I guess, like energy capacity you need. But like, do you have like weight and size dimensions you need to fit into?
So for our first couple of years, we're not really worried about weight. We're worried about just running in general.
Okay.
Because the way the sponsorship, the way the competition is is most of the teams don't even get to run their car during the competition
because they don't have a running car competition. Right?
That or they don't get the technical inspection.
Okay.
I think we estimate there's 100 teams registered, 80 teams show up.
Yep.
60 of those teams show up with a car.
Okay.
And 30 of those cars actually drive.
Okay.
At least for EV. For ICE, it's a little bit different.
Yeah, well, there you're just buying a CBR engine, slapping a ECU on it and running it, right? Yeah.
That's a little more straightforward.
Yeah.
But
yeah, the hardest part is getting past technical inspection.
Okay, so there's a very high attrition rate in the EV space, then,
correct,
which tells me that it is much harder than the ICE stuff. So yeah. Okay, cost, like, does that factor into this? You said it was basically half the cost of the car, right? So
that's a big factor this year. Last year, it wasn't as much a factor because we were doing a 2-year car, so we had 2 years to kind of attain those funds. But this year, it's only 1 year, so we only have 1 year to get all the funds we need. So a lot of the stuff we're reusing because we have it, like our batteries, our BMS, some of our connectors. I know another thing is tariffs are starting to hit us as well. I know I was trying to buy a connector the other week, which it was almost $100 just in tariffs on that one connector. But yeah, money's a decent constraint for us.
Okay. And then the design you have, like you said you ran it through simulations, like what other things are you doing to validate this before you spend all the money to do it?
Yeah, so with our schedule this year, it allows us more time to test. So we didn't get to test at all last year, as it was kind of like we got to rush to build this and then send it off to comp, and then hopefully we can get it running there as well.
Yeah.
This year, hopefully we'll be able to quantify our cooling simulations, be able to get numbers, see if it even is accurate at all.
Okay.
But for the sims we're running right now, we just want to know, is this setup better than this setup?
Yep.
We're not really caring about the numbers. We care a little bit about the numbers, but we're comparing them to each other. So we get to understand how many fans we need, what configuration, what CFM. That helps us tell us that. And then with our actual capacity, being able to run the car for 30 minutes will help us, validate, 5 kilowatts is perfect, or maybe we need to up it, or maybe we can decrease it.
Yeah, and then what happens is inevitably you size it correctly, and then someone forgets to charge it right before competition, right?
Yeah.
Or something really silly like that is always somebody's going to have that happen to them. But okay, so what other compromises have you had to make? Like, I mean, if cost is an issue or tariffs are affecting everything greatly, like, what other problems have you had to run into that you've had to work around?
So this year, our size constraint is getting me a lot because our modules take up a decent size of the car. I think they're around, with all of them together in one section, is around 22 to 24 inches wide.
Okay.
So that's a big wide car.
Where are you putting them all?
Right behind the driver.
Okay.
So right behind the firewall.
Where the engine would normally be.
Correct.
Are you stacking them or laying them all flat, or kind of how do you position them?
With the rules, it is easier to lay them all in one kind of plane versus stacking them. I know UTA has done stack design as well, and we looked into that, but we didn't find it. We didn't find that the space going up changed our space side to side as much as we wanted to. So we just on one plane for that.
But it's definitely not like a actual like Tesla car where it's all under the floorboards, because your driver is a significant amount of weight and you want that low, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What does the battery typically weigh?
Our battery last year weighed 150 pounds.
What does the total car weigh?
Total car without the
batteries.
With it was probably, was it 550?
Okay. And that with aero too?
500 with aero, yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's not terribly heavy. Mm-hmm. So it's not much different than like our car was in 06. It was 450 pounds with aero, but it was a CBR 250 engine. So a small turbocharged, 4-cylinder. But yeah, so you're not far off. So it's not that much heavier.
No.
Maybe 10% extra weight.
You gain a little bit of weight, but you also gain a ton more torque and horsepower.
Yeah, okay.
I mean,
do they limit you on that at all?
They only limit your power output and your voltage output.
Okay, so like a kilowatt output.
Correct.
Okay.
You're only allowed 80 kilowatts out and 600
How do they regulate that?
They have a little, it's actually not little, it's a big connector that sits on the side of our car, which you get something at competition, you plug it in, and you download all the data off of it, and they take it back and they look at all your data.
Oh, so they're running on, you're having to log it all, and then they're, okay. So I feel like there's a lot of room for cheating on that, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but
from what I've seen, it's very hard to, because your power goes through that.
Okay.
So if you go into technical inspection and they see you're trying to route around their energy data logger, they're going to be like, oh, you can't do that.
Okay.
You can't run
before tech inspection.
I do know that some teams have accidentally gone above the 80 kilowatt hours. I think UTA has a couple times.
What are they? Is it if you go over, you're done?
No, you just get penalty. It's like a couple point penalty.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not terrible. Yeah. You're not disqualified like an oil leak in the endurance
Correct.
competition. Okay. And then going on here. So, how do you think this is going to scale to actual motorsports outside of FSAE? Do you think it will ever? I mean, obviously, EV stuff is very energy dependent and it's slow to charge it. So do you ever think that'll happen in real racing?
I know that there already is some out there. I know there's Formula E. I know there's a couple of the kind of endurance style that have a little bit of electricity in them. I don't know, maybe eventually, but it all depends on how the whole space is, because it's storing it and then putting it out, especially for an endurance race. You're going to be a lot of weight. It's gonna weigh a lot.
Do any teams do like quick change batteries, or is that not a thing in FSAE?
That's not really a thing. We typically have one box, and it'll last you the whole day.
Okay. And then, what is your cost per unit on these batteries?
So EV Powertrain as a whole was right around 40,000 last year.
Okay, for the whole powertrain with the drive motor,
inverter, batteries, everything.
And the electronics control it all as well?
Correct.
Okay.
But batteries specifically, I think, was 15 to 20, almost half of it.
Okay. So it's expensive.
That's with them putting all of them together, manufacturing it all for us, and shipping it out to us.
Okay.
We didn't have to do anything with them except put them together, put some bus bars across them, and connect them to our BMS.
Okay. And do you have 2 packs? Do you make more than one, or do you just bring one to competition?
It'd just be one.
Okay. Don't want to have any redundancy there.
Well,
fingers crossed it works.
Yeah, it's mostly just that. I mean, trying to spend $20,000 for 2 boxes, it's a little hard when we can barely spend it for one.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
I guess we came with 2 engines, and one of them was broken before we got there, and the other one broke at competition. So yeah, our redundancy was dead too.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sullivan's back there shaking a finger at you, Zach.
Yeah, he doesn't like when I spend money.
Okay.
No, I think he thinks your numbers are wrong.
Oh, okay. I doubled it by accident.
Okay. Okay. And if you were to make these in more than just one, do you think the cost would come down significantly, or is it pretty set in stone?
I think it'd be kind of set in stone. We didn't actually pay as much as it cost because of sponsorships. I mean, if you went to mass manufacturing of it, I think it'd bring it down a couple percentages.
Okay.
But it wouldn't be more than what we got through sponsorship.
Okay. So what you're doing is, it's not like completely new as far as like you're creating a new drivetrain entirely. You're taking products that people already make, combining it into one. You're like basically like a systems integrator essentially. And so you're learning that process, right? Is there any piece of that you can take out and, like, hey, this is something unique that I've never seen done before?
So I don't know if it's new can't say the word, but I know next year or a year after, we're going to start trying to do our own BMS system.
Okay.
Because that takes up a lot of room inside our battery container, and it's just a lot of space we can take back for us.
Mm-hmm.
But most everything else is a little complicated and a little complex for us right now.
Okay.
To try to innovate on besides.
So the BMS system you have in there now, that one's just like an AEM or somebody who makes
it's an Orion BMS too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just off the shelf Orion.
Okay. Because I've seen a lot of the automotive, I guess not automotive, the ICE ECU people. So like Motec and AEM have gotten into the EV space. So they have like motor controllers, and I'm assuming they have BMS systems as well.
Yeah, I actually looked into some of the AEM BMSs. They don't, when I was looking at them, for the cost of it to change over wouldn't be worth it for us right now, but I do like how they are doing it with, multiple different modules.
Okay.
Versus the Orion is one big module.
Okay. And like obviously, the EV sort of stuff, like who is the customer to that stuff? So if you get a job in industry and you start working on, BMS design or battery packaging and stuff like that, like who is the customer, do you think?
I think for most of it right now, it would be mostly just consumers, general residency consumers.
Appliance cars.
Correct. Like Tesla, Rivian, all those. It is starting to get, I've seen it starting to get more and more into the trucking space, but I don't know how well that's going to go over.
Okay.
Because I know a lot of the truckers out there are like, I love my diesel engine.
Yeah.
It's lasted me my whole life.
Yep.
So.
And then you also have, I guess there's some like hybrid racing, and they're using smaller packs, but
Correct.
It's similar technology, right?
Yeah.
So Porsche does a lot with it, and obviously the LMP stuff has been hybrid for a while, right? So there is space in motorsports for it. Formula One even has, electrical component to it, right?
Yeah.
So okay,
I think the hybrids will be better than fully electric cars,
at least in a racing car.
Even regular consumer car, a commuter car that's not just around, for example, Dallas.
Okay. So have you had anything with your battery pack like completed? Like, have you been able to do any testing at all?
So we did some testing on our last year's battery pack because we're just transitioning it over this year.
Okay.
We did a little bit of testing on it, but not too much yet. We're still trying to figure out our fan configuration, like I was saying, and then we're going to put that together. Then we're going to test that and see what our kind of numbers are on that, if we're doing it right or not.
Okay. And so have you had it on a car to test, or are you doing it all like bench testing it?
Bench testing right now.
Okay.
Yeah, we're trying
even with the old car?
Yes.
Okay.
So trying to figure all the problems out with the old car, it's all been on a bench test.
Okay.
We did have it in the car for comp, but we were unable to test it there.
Okay.
Because it all didn't work together at the time.
So that car never raced then, essentially is what you're saying. Okay. And did you guys, so one thing UTA always did was even if the car failed in competition, through the summer after the competition, we would still like refine it and make the car better. And that was the most frustrating thing to me, was if we had 3 more months before competition, the cars would be like
Yep.
Absolutely perfect. And so we would take the cars that even if they didn't finish right or broke, we would make them run, and then we dial them in and tune them and make them run better. Is that something they did with that car, or did they never make it run?
Yeah, no, we're trying to right now.
Okay.
We're having a problem with our inverter right now. We may have to send it back to be R-made, but that's really our only stopping point right now in the terms of EV powertrain for putting the old car to test and get it running again.
Okay.
I know that's a big thing that our president keeps on pushing us, because he really wants us to have our first car fully running. Because it was, if, like you said, if we had 3 more months, it would have been a fully running perfect car.
Right.
Not perfect, but good car.
Go ahead.
It's a lot easier to iterate on last year's designs
Sure.
when you can see how last year's designs performed.
Correct.
So not just for his subsystem, but for everybody. Like if suspension could see how well they did last year off of last year's car, then they can know what worked and what didn't.
That's right.
So we're definitely pushing to make sure we can get last year's car running so we can get that testing data. But at this point, it's just emails back and forth with the people who sold us the thing.
Yep.
Like, how do we make this work?
Okay, so with this EV powertrain on this car and you only having one at competition, how serviceable is it? Like, if you have a problem, can you disassemble it and repair it in Michigan?
Yeah, so most of the time at Michigan, me and my co-lead there were in the hot work area trying to get it to function correctly until we figured out just to get it to technical inspection.
Okay.
So we found in technical inspection one of our fuses wasn't rated properly, and we couldn't get like 100 fuses next day shipped that fast and put it onto the car. But yeah, we spent that's one of the big design things I like to focus on is the serviceability, because I know eventually you're going to have to work at it at comp.
Yep.
There's no getting around it. Something either going to go into technical inspection and they say this is wrong, or something's going to break.
Okay. So do you see yourself working in motorsports after you graduate?
I would love to.
Okay.
One of my goals is to try to get into Toyota.
Okay.
I would love to work there. It's a great
They
company.
don't do any battery stuff, do they? Other than the hybrids?
They're doing a lot of hybrids. I know they're slowly creeping into the BEV space, but I think they're focusing on hybrids because I think that's what they believe is going to be the best for the future.
Sure.
I know that in motorsports, I watch a lot of WEC, so I like gizzard racing. That'd be one of my cool things to do, even if it wasn't even an EV.
Okay. And then as far as the battery powertrain goes, like, do you think you could bring something like that to market if you were employed by someone who does that? Is that something you understand well enough you could actually do something with?
Yeah, I think I can. I know some of the senior design people that did the R&D for us are in the space now doing conversions of cars into EV.
Okay.
So it is a possible thing. It's just it's kind of hard right now.
Okay.
A lot of people don't like EVs.
Right. I love them for a lot of reasons. Racing is definitely not one of them, though. So I can't put in the same category, right? So, okay. So, Emily, how do you foster innovation on the team? Like, how do you get people to make new products and push the boundaries of what they can do and not just carry over something from the last year, not understanding how it works, right? Like that was always a problem at UTA.
Just copy paste.
So your car works really well, take it, do it again the next year, and then nobody understands why it worked well, right? So how do you promote innovation on the team?
I think our biggest opportunity to kind of diversify the projects we work on, I mean, Zach touched on it a little bit, but is our senior design, our capstone projects, which is a little hard because it's the seniors that do it, and then they leave you the project and they graduate.
But that's a class, though, right? Like for credit?
Yes,
Okay.
Yes. But our school does a really great job of partnering with us as the Mean Green Racing to be like, hey, we have senior design teams. Would you like to sponsor one of those teams? And typically, if we have team members that are taking the senior design class, they don't even need to ask. We're just like, hey, you're in senior design. Go do something for us.
Right.
But it gives the students an opportunity to come up with something a little more creative that, like if it's on a legacy car, it doesn't even have to be rules legal. But so we have 2 senior design teams this year. Actually, we have one that's implementing a drive-by-wire system into our 23 car, which is the last ICE car that we built. And then we also have a team that's doing our first iteration of Active Aero, DRS, essentially. So our 25 car was actually the first year we ran with an aero package. And we definitely had a lot of improvements to do just for a stationary aero package. So we don't while like applying the active aero technology would be great for the team, we don't want to take away from our current aero team to do that. But then we had a senior design team that's like, oh, this is a fantastic idea. We want to delve into that so that we can use our personal time and our class time to kind of explore that idea quite a bit more and let the rest of the SAE team and that existing aero team just focus on their product.
Okay.
So in the long run, they could take the active aero technology and put it on our 27, 28 car.
Yep.
Depending on how well that integrates. And then us as an officer team, it's just a matter of making sure we have the funding available to pay for those projects. But that isn't normally too big of a deal.
Okay.
And then we do, if necessary, I mean, everybody on those projects is already members of the team, so they're already very well affiliated with what we do. But having the leads for the subsystems that the project may be for helping assist with the project as well.
So you don't have any carryover problems. So if someone's designing like active aero for their senior design capstone project and you can't implement it till 2 years down the road, do you not have a gap of the knowledge of understanding that system, or do they
a little bit? It depends on the project. One of our, probably the biggest senior design project we had was the original battery pack that was developed in 2024.
Okay.
So
that's the one he was starting with. Okay.
So that's what he had to base all of his designs off of going into the 25 car. A big thing with our team, and I think most SAE teams, is having a very active alumni forum channel communication that is left open. So a lot of our alumni are very, very helpful in coming back and helping however they can.
Okay.
They can't design the car for us by any means. But if we took that active aero technology and did implement it on car 28, the people from that project would be more than happy to come back and help implement it. The people who helped develop our accumulator for the 24, I know gave him quite a lot of advice when it came to his designs. So we've never really had too much of a problem with the alumni just graduating and completely leaving us in the dark.
Okay, so you do have a transfer of knowledge path.
Yeah.
Maybe not like the person that designed the thing doesn't necessarily get to test it because they're writing the paper and they don't even get to put it on a car until after the competition and they graduated. But at the very least, somebody has passed that information on.
Yeah.
Okay.
And our original aero package was actually based off of the aero package we did for 25 was actually based off of a senior design project we did back in 2017.
Okay.
And we just have the data, we have the simulation files and everything from that. So we were able to pick and choose some of that data, figure out what we liked, what we didn't like, and iterate upon their design. I don't think we had that much communication with the team, but with the capstone project, they force you to do so much documentation that you don't even have to rely on that channel of communication if it's not available.
Yep.
Because all of the information is there for us to use.
It makes me think that when you're talking about your team leadership, where you have you do your elections in the winter and you have an intern to your team leadership for the next 6 months, that your senior design people almost need a sophomore or freshman even to help manufacture stuff and just tag along for everything. So that way when they're junior or senior, they have they just continue your thing, right?
Yeah. Well, we do have
it's kind of like what you have done, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
We do have the drive-by-wire system that's going into our 23 car. It's a senior design project, and our legacy lead, whose job it is to maintain that car, he's one of the main people on that team for the senior design project. But since it correlates with his legacy subsystem, the members that he has also working for him as legacy members still get quite a bit of involvement in that project, so they can learn how it's being developed and implemented in the car. And so then they'll be able to work on the system. It's not completely foreign to them once they eventually take over the legacy role.
Okay. And if somebody were to give you guys $50,000 to do whatever you want on the team, where would you guys be putting that?
I would give most of it to him. Make the car go and make it go good.
There's things we have been looking into that do cost a significant amount more money.
Okay.
That would be advantageous for us to go into, but it also take time, people, and skills as well. Otherwise, there's a lot of parts that we transition over year to year. Our current car never really, UTA gets there and then that's it.
Yeah.
it's always ends up all the parts come off and go into the new car.
Yeah, we did a lot of that on my years. Yeah.
Having that money would allow us to at least have one car to stay around that's purely just as that year was.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically just duplicating parts so you have more than one vehicle,
Correct.
essentially.
Yeah.
More than one running vehicle.
I think anything else that me personally I'd funnel money into is primarily get a fantastic EV powertrain system that's very reliable and easy to work on. But then any excess money, I would make a really sick aero package. So make all the downforce in the world with some expensive carbon fiber.
Okay. Do you guys do all that stuff in-house, the carbon?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have your own autoclave for it, or is it
so we do
vacuum
just
bag it and
wet layups, vacuum bag.
Okay.
Normally we do just 3D printed molds for the wing elements. Peterbilt actually manufactures our molds for our hood and nose cone. So the more complicated molds, the bigger ones that are harder to 3D print.
Sure.
But everything else we do in-house. Like we have a whole composites team that does all of our layups for us and everything.
Awesome. Okay, so let's kind of close this out here. How can people follow UNT FSAE? Do you guys have social media or website, or what do you guys do?
You can find us on Instagram. We're just Mean Green Racing, no spaces, all lowercase. Our website is meangreenracing.unt.edu. And then our email address, if anybody has any questions or wants to get in contact with us, is just saeunt@gmail.com. So those are main means of communication. If anybody's a UNT student looking to join us, find us on Instagram, join our Discord.
Yeah.
We're super active in there. That's what we use all of our communication for, all of our team calls and everything.
Okay.
So, and then we're pretty active on Instagram as well.
Okay. And then when you guys are obviously looking for sponsors, which is how you got a hold of me, is we've helped my shop, Evolution Dynamics, has helped your team many times in the past. Not you specifically, but your team.
Yeah.
And so our sponsorship is never cash, but it's always time and resources, right? So we let you use our dyno the other day, and you guys can use it many times as you want. But like, how do you guys reach out for sponsorships? What are you looking for? Is there anything specific you need? Just ask away.
Yeah. The easiest way for us to get sponsors is through a personal connection. Somebody knows somebody whose uncle's dad's owns a company and he likes race cars. So that's, I think, the primary way we end up with sponsors, but those are normally just like a small cash donation. The biggest thing we need, though, is the larger donations, which are a little harder to come by, and that's just a matter of knowing who to ask and asking really nicely. Sometimes people do seek us out. We have alumni with companies they've started or that they work for that they come back and they message us. They're like, hey, are you guys looking for sponsors? And we're like, yes, always. Very, very many, all of the sponsors, please. But mostly it just comes down to us having to reach out to people and ask. I mean, that's why I emailed you. I had a freshman compile a list of everybody they could think of that we could possibly message. But the sponsors, a lot of them are just cash donations. But some people sponsor us with some type of service like you have with the dyno. And
discounts on parts and equipment.
Discounts on parts and equipment. Or if somebody just wants to outright buy us a part, like last year we had somebody purchase our motor for us. So like they didn't have a company or anything, but they wanted to make a donation that wasn't just a wad of cash because they don't really know what we're going to use that for. So they want to be able to buy a part and say, that is what I contributed.
Okay.
So just have somebody buy a particular part for us.
Okay. And so let's go to the final like rapid fire questions here. So what's your favorite motorsports series to watch?
Yeah, like I said, I like watching WEC.
Okay.
I like the endurance stuff.
Okay.
I like WEC quite a bit, but I'd say my favorite is Formula One.
Okay. I got my phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And a dream job in the industry?
Like I said, I'd love to work in the automotive industry, Toyota, places like that.
If I could be some type of automotive engineer, primarily in motorsports, that would be great. Like, I like the project management side quite a bit, but if I could, I do kind of miss actually getting to do the actual design and the engineering of it. So.
Okay, so then this follows up to the most underrated skill for an engineer. What is it?
Most underrated skill.
I think we talked about this
Communication.
yesterday. Yeah, communication.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
They never give engineers communication classes.
Yeah.
Like, you learn all of the theory and all of the math, but they never teach you how to get up and present, how to have a solid conversation, and
work as a team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, best piece of advice you've been given?
You want me to go?
Yeah, I guess I don't
I
remember mine.
think best piece of advice pertaining to SAE, best advice I've received was, it's kind of silly, but a lot of the people who seem like they know what they're talking about don't really know as much as it seems like they know. And for me, it was a little intimidating to step up into something where I knew nothing and everybody else seemed like they knew so much.
That's the Dunning-Kruger effect,
But
right?
just to go in with confidence, even though you may not feel like you know as much, because realistically, everybody else is learning just as much as you are.
Yeah.
I remember my grandfather telling me, especially when I got into engineering, because my family's been engineers throughout a couple of generations. He always told me engineering or experience will always beat knowledge.
Okay.
In the real world.
Yeah. And on your topic of people like talking like they know stuff, and this is me exactly too. So when I joined the FSAE team, I started as, hey, I know a lot about cars because I work on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And then they put you on the team, and I sharpened drill bits for 3 days straight, right? And then you're like, you start working on the car, and you realize even the students there know way, way more than you do.
Mm-hmm.
But then very quickly you realize you're at the very bottom of the trough. Like, I don't know anything. And then you can kind of build your confidence up a little bit as you learn about the system. But then when you talk to other people about specific things on a car in general, and you realize very quickly that they're at the top of the trough before they even begin to understand that they don't know anything about it. So it's a really funny thing to like go through the process of that, but you just over time you just realize that like you don't know anything until you've like really done it hard for like FSAE time periods. So So what's the biggest misconception about FSAE?
I think that, well, we get a lot of new members and people when we're trying to describe it, and they're like, oh, so you're a racing team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, no, we're an engineering team. And yes, we love race cars. And yes, we love to drive race cars. And yes, we love to race cars. But we are engineers.
Okay.
And I think that's a big one, especially for new members coming in. The one question we always get, when can I drive the car? Can I drive the car? Is it my turn to drive the car? It's like, no. We test the car.
Sure.
We don't just drive the car. We test the car because we're trying to get data off of it.
Okay. So, any final thoughts or shout outs you want to give to anybody?
I mean, Solomon, Mr. Project Manager, hiding in the back of the room. He does a fantastic job with everything he does to help make our team happen. All of our sponsors, everybody that has contributed to getting us to where we are. We quite literally could not do what we do without the help that they give us, and the alumni as well. They've always done a fantastic job to step in and help us when we need help with the knowledge transfer from one car to another and everything.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
Cool. And then I just want to thank you both for taking the time to come out here and share how you guys run everything and how everything goes in Formula SAE. And I hope you guys do well this year.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for watching Do It For a Living. You can find out more about this guest, this show, and even details about what we just talked about at our website, doitforaliving.net. Check out the Facebook page, facebook.com/doitforaliving, and tell us who you want to hear from. And if you're running a performance or racing shop, check out My Shop Assist at myshopassist.com. We build shop management software specifically for the motorsports industry. Most importantly, subscribe to the channel. Click subscribe, hit that notification bell. Do it now. Seriously, I'll wait. If you're watching on YouTube, the button's right there. If you're listening on a podcast app, hit subscribe there too. When you subscribe, you help us gain momentum and attract more high-level guests. Thank you for watching, and good luck.